Hello, Ravi, Alex, and the rest of the Infinis team. I hope everyone's having an amazing day so far. Today, I will be demonstrating the MuleSoft application I developed as part of the take-home assignment portion of the interview process. This application has many APIs to achieve the goal of accepting a JSON payload from a client and creating care benefit verify request records in Salesforce Health Cloud. For this demo, I've gone ahead and spun up free trials of the MuleSoft Anypoint platform, Salesforce Health Cloud, Snowflake for data archival, and Datadog for error logging. In this demo, I will be going over three main points. The first main point is how we deploy our MuleSoft application. We are able to deploy our MuleSoft application using the Runtime Manager component of the Anypoint platform. Here, we've set up our environments, and we'll go ahead and deploy into this pre-production environment. I'll start by giving the application a name. And go ahead and upload your jar file that you exported from your Anypoint Studio. Double check that all the deployment configurations are good, and go ahead and deploy the application. While this is deploying, I'll go ahead and address the second main point, which is a walkthrough of the code. Here we have our Infinitus Salesforce Health MuleSoft application, which has all of our APIs responsible for interfacing with Salesforce Health Cloud. Here we have our global XML, which has all of our global connections that are meant for connecting to various systems. Each of the connections are protected by secure properties so that there are no plain passwords inside. We started by creating a RAML specification, and then we used API Kit and API scaffolding to go ahead and create the MuleSoft APIs. First, we have our Experience API, which is responsible for accepting payloads from the client and publishing it to the messaging queue. Our Process API consumes messages from the queue, and it inserts the records into Snowflake via our Snowflake System API. It then transforms the data and sends it to our Salesforce System API for creation within Salesforce. The Salesforce System API aggregates the responses back and publishes it back to the Experience API, which is then sent as a response back to our client. The API scaffolding handles your typical 401s, 404s, 500 errors, 404s out of the box. But for anything that's MuleSoft related, we have a global error handling strategy, which essentially aggregates and sends the data into Datadog. Now, the third main point, let's go ahead and have a live demonstration of this API in action. As expected, this deployment process does take a long time sometimes, longer than we have for this video. So I do have an application ready to go in our staging environment, and we'll go ahead and demo on this one. So as we see here, this application is running, and here's our public endpoint. This public endpoint can be used in a API client such as Postman, which we have here, our staging application, and we'll go ahead and create these records in Salesforce. So we'll send it. And we can see here that these are the Salesforce IDs which have been created and that they were successfully created. We added one other small feature, which is to fetch the care benefit verification via the ID. And we can see here that we're able to fetch this ID that was just created at 11/11. Created date 11/11. Similarly, we could traverse here to Salesforce. We can open up a developer console, and we could confirm that as well. So as we see here, 11/11, both of these were created. And these are the IDs which are returned to us in the Postman response, 3H QAE 25 QAE. is what we got here. 25 QAE and 3H QAE. So this is the happy path. We also have error scenarios that we could demonstrate here, such as 404s when the URL is incorrect. So we have a 404 not found. And similarly, we could mock a couple of 400 bad request errors by giving an invalid JSON. So we have a 400 bad request. Or if we're missing a particular field or fields, we will also get a bad request from the API. And lastly, we'd like to go over the connections that we used for connecting to the various systems. For Salesforce, we created a connected app and a robot user, and we're able to connect using OAuth. OAuth. For Snowflake, we created a robot user, and we're just using basic auth here. And for Datadog, we are using a API key. And all of the HTTP connections are HTTPS, where we created a key store so that we could enable TLS and have secure HTTP. I believe we should see evidence of all those in our logs as well. So yes, when we got rid of these required keys, we got an error. When we added the extra comma and it became an invalid JSON, this got this error. And then when we added the extra ends to the incorrect path, we got this. Similarly, beforehand, we got the query job when we were fetching our query, or when we were fetching the record. I could see that those logs are here. And prior to that, we could see the creation response and all of the logs pertaining to the successful Salesforce creation. Well, that's it for the demo. Thank you guys for your time, and here for any questions if you have any. Thank you.